bet you, I mean, you probably did come for the food, and that's good. I came for the food. Try some of this. But I bet you also came because you might have a question.
I might.
That's my girl.
So,
I'm counting on that.
yes. So actually, this is a very important question because I hear it over and over again. And that is let's say that somebody already got a divorce or they were already separated for a period of time. Can they later on go back and try to get a settlement in terms of spousal support or child support way after the fact?
Absolutely. So there is no limitation on bringing an application for either spousal or child support. There are limitations in law about many things. In law, there's a standard limitation of 2 years on many things that after 2 years you can't sue. In family law, in the Family Law Act, there's a 6-year limitation after separation that you cannot claim a division of property. There's a 2-year limitation after you get a divorce that you can't claim a division of property.
Okay.
But there's no limitation about how long after a divorce or a separation that you can claim spousal or child support. It is wide open.
Oh, really?
For those of you who think you settled your child and spousal support claims, or you're happy that 2 or 5 or 10 years have passed and your ex hasn't come after you, don't be so happy. It is still potentially out there. Now, the courts will look suspiciously at a claim that comes a long time later.
Right.
Now, 5 or 10 years after the fact. But those cases are out there.
Right.
And some of them are out there, again, for valid reasons. Some people didn't have the financial resources to come after it.
Right.
Some people, like we talked about before, had no idea about what the financial circumstances were of the other person, so they didn't think there was a valid reason.
Right.
Some people just needed to get away. Some people were suffering from incapacity, various psychological difficulties, or maybe various other reasons why they couldn't do it. So that claim is still potentially out there. There is no limitation period that runs, and that is always available. Child support particularly. The courts are of the view that the child support is the right of the child. A child under the age of 18 cannot sign away their child support rights.
Right.
The parent can't sign away their child support rights for them, so a child can conceivably come back at any time.
Which is fair.
The courts will often go back up to 3 years on retroactive awards of child support, and if they find there's been blameworthy conduct, like you abused the other person, you hid your assets, you didn't disclose, you threatened them, that blameworthy conduct will generally cause the courts to go back further than 3 years, to the point where the separation actually occurred and the support should have been paid. So that's a big minefield.
People sometimes also, I mean, I've known myself about people who leave the country even after being ordered by a court to pay spousal support, and they just leave.
Leave the jurisdiction.
Right, but then what's interesting is that they still seem to be able to come back and forth and not get caught. Why is that?
Well, because somebody's not doing their job, and depending on how they travel. So this person's a Canadian citizen, and they're traveling on a Canadian passport or Canadian travel document. The Family Responsibility Office, which is the government agency that enforces child or spousal support orders, should be proactive. They have the power to suspend or revoke that person's passport, their driver's license, their landed immigrant card. They can suspend all those documents, so that person should not be able to come and go on a Canadian travel document. But I would say that the support recipient should be getting on the phone, getting the Family Responsibility Office online, and telling them, hey, listen, this is happening. I've got this order. My ex-husband, for example, or ex-wife is traveling on a Canadian passport. They're not paying me. You should be revoking their passport because they now owe me, $75,000 in child support, and they're just thumbing their nose at the system. And FRO, the Family Responsibility Office, they have that power.
That's
they can do
who
that.
they should get in touch with. That's good to know. Okay, because it is ridiculous. A person could just negate their responsibilities and flee the country and come back.
You have to pay for your kids. You love this person enough, you want the kids enough to hop into the sack, get naked. Okay, we're getting visuals now. Those of you visualizing, don't look at her, don't look at me. Have kids, profess their love for these children, and then not pay for them? Seriously.
Disgusting.
I won't say I justify it. I can sometimes understand how spouses dislike each other enough they're not keen on the idea of writing a check to their ex. But again, when people get married, they live together for a long time. One spouse says to the other, look, you stay at home, keep the home, take care of the kids, don't worry about it. I'll maximize my career, you minimize your career. That goes on for 25 years and then they split. Well, there's a lifetime spousal support obligation there. And there's a reason for it. No different than a business arrangement where one partner says to the other, You take care of the office, I'll go out and run all the contracts, but God forbid they split up. What, they keep all the contracts, the other person just keeps an empty office? No, that wouldn't be allowed. Marriage is no different.
Yeah.
So there are rights, lots of rights. There is no limitation period. It doesn't expire. Spousal support is always an option. Child support is almost a guaranteed obligation.
So it's good to know. People can go back after a period of time.
And even better to know
Negotiate.
how to make this dip. I got to tell you, this is.
Oh yeah, this is.
You got to know. You got to know. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.